of enjoyment flowing within the heart. Therefore, Phalgu Vairagya. Now, in contrast to this, Sri Rupa Goswami defines the actual Vairagya of the devotee. Now, this is what we call as Yukta Vairagya, and it is often a most misunderstood term, especially with many individuals who do not see the complete definition of Yukta Vairagya. Often, Yukta Vairagya is seen as take anything material and use it in the service of Bhagavan. But the definition of Yukta Vairagya is slightly more nuanced, slightly more detailed than this. Let's see the definition of Yukta Vairagya. Anasaktasya vishayan यथार्हम् उपयुञ्जतः निर्बन्धः कृष्णसम्बन्धे युक्तं वैराग्यमुच्यते. The first condition for a devotee is anasaktasya vishayan. The devotee should be personally unattached to any sense object they are using for Krishna. This is the first qualification, dear devotee. Often we say that I am using this particular object in the service of Krishna, but underneath, within our hearts, we know that I am personally attached to it, and hence I am buying this particular object. So that immediately disqualifies us from Yukta Vairagya. So, Anasaktasya Vishayan. If we are going to use something in the seva of Krishna, we should know that personally we should not have attachment to that particular object. It is only supposed to be used out of love as an instrument of seva to Bhagavan. And yatha arham, as much as needed, not more than that. I'll give you a simple example. For example, let's take the case of a car. Now, it is possible for a devotee who is staying alone to drive very nicely using an ordinary car. But if the devotee says, no, I want the latest, which is the most premium car here? In India, it's Mercedes. Right? Porsche. Yeah. Yeah, I want Porsche. And I'll offer it to Krishna. But you can very easily do with a Volkswagen. So, yatha arham, as much as you need. Don't do it more, because that breaks the second condition of Yukta Vairagya. Now, when these two conditions are satisfied, first condition, personally you should be detached from that sense object. Second, you accept it only as much as needed. As much as needed for what? Service of Bhagavan. And nirbandha, when the devotee has developed such a nirbandha. What is the meaning of nirbandha? Nirbandha is a dedicated mindset. Krishna sambandhe, in relation to Krishna. Then such an attitude of dedication is called Yukta Vairagya. Now I'll give an example to explain what is nirbandha. So that what is dedicated mindset. Let's say there is a person who is very fat and people constantly are shaming him about being fat. And one fine day he has had enough. So that day he goes home and decides, either I will lose weight or I'll die. Nirbandha. I hope you're able to. This is Nirbandha. So the next morning when he is walking on the street, so he sees a big ice cream shop. So dear devotees, now it's not ice cream for him, it's calories. I hope you're able to know. So this is Nirbandha. He'll accept only as much as needed and personally remain unattached to that sense object. Because his Nirbandha now, his determination now is towards only one thing. And what is his determination towards? Losing weight. So that Nirbandha towards Sri Krishna, in which you see all sense objects only as much as they are needed for seva. Otherwise, you start seeing them as harmful. So the Nirbandha, the determination to should be towards Sri Krishna seva. Nirbandha can also be roughly translated as the purpose of living your life. For example, this person's purpose of living life is now losing weight. So that is Nirbandha. When the purpose of living one's life is becomes centered around Shri Krishna, that at that particular point of time, this attitude is called as Yukta Vairagya. Now, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami has given a very tight rope to walk upon. And you know how we walk upon tight ropes. On the first day, you cannot walk, you wobble on the first day. Right? So, it's not that on the first day you will strike a balance, but you have to start practicing walking on the rope. And after some time, each and every one of us will find that balance. And it is going to take time. And therefore, time is needed, quality time is needed for practicing this path of Krishna Bhakti with the proper attitude. It's not just to come to the temple and do whatever you want, and one day Krishna will be merciful and will show himself to you. So there is a proper attitude with which you need to follow the path. And there is a science behind making advancement on the path. There should be nirbandha. Nirbandha means that dedication should be present, that somehow or other I must attain Bhagavan in this very life. Now, if that nirbandha is not present, if that hunger is not present, then it becomes very difficult for a person to walk on the path. Very difficult. Why? Because why should a person who is not hungry be given a full plate of food? Please tell me. A full plate of prasadam should be given only to a person who is genuinely hungry on this path. And Sri Rupa Goswami also says, Laulyam api mulyam ekkalam. The only price to pay. Who remembers what is the only price to pay? Huh? Eagerness. So somebody who doesn't have eagerness doesn't have the currency. And somebody who has eagerness has the currency. So the devotee, in the back of their minds, that anxiousness is there, that somehow or other in this life I have to do it. That nirbandha is called Yukta Vairagya. The devotees, once the nirbandha comes, everything else is taken care of. The first two conditions, anasaktasya vishayan, yatharham upayunjatah, they are taken care of provided that nirbandha is there. For example, if the person has decided I want to lose weight, all the other characteristics will automatically fall into place. All the good qualities will fall into place. But if that determination is not there, then there is no point of trying to lose weight. Here is the translation. Matesh, please read.
For a devotee who is, first, completely unattached to sense objects, and second, who accepts only as much as needed, their dedication related to Krishna is known as Yukta Vairagya.
So I have highlighted in bold. What is known as Yukta Vairagya, dear devotees? The dedication to serve Bhagavan is known as Yukta Vairagya. Nirbandha is known as Yukta Vairagya. And I have given the example of that dedication. So that if somebody has that level of nirbandha, then it is easy for them. It's not very difficult. But if somebody doesn't have that level of nirbandha, so dear devotees, it becomes difficult to progress on the path. It's very, very simple. It becomes difficult to progress on the path. There is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Sri Rai Ramananda. I'll break out of presentation and I'll show a verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please sing after me. The verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, very sweet meter. Nanupachar krita pujana martha bandho Nanupachar krita pujana martha bandho प्रेम्णैव भक्तहृदयं सुखविद्रुतं स्यात् यावत् क्षुदस्ति जठरे जरठा पिपासा तावत् सुखाय भवतो ननु भक्ष्यपेये So Sri Rai Ramanand has composed this verse, a very important verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nana upachara krita pujanam. You may worship Bhagwan in nana ways. What is the meaning of nana, dear devotees? Many, many ways. Nana upachara krita pujanam. Artha Bandhu. His name is Deen Bandhu. He is very merciful, but premnaiva bhakta hridayam sukha vidrutam syad. Only when there is that genuine prema, that genuine desire, that genuine greed, will Bhagwan's heart become happy and the devotee's heart become happy. Otherwise, bhakti will not manage to touch our heart. And then the example is given. Yavat kshudasti jathare. As much hunger as is present in the stomach, jaratha pipasa, and as much thirst you are experiencing, tavat sukhaya bhavato nanu bhakshipe, that much pleasure you get from eating and drinking. Now, suppose today was Nirjala Ekadashi. So, Nirjala Ekadashi is spent in fasting from all food and water. But next morning, when the first morsel of food is taken, or the first sip of juice is taken, how does the first morsel feel, dear devotees? How? Please repeat. Delicious. Delicious. Okay. And then the second morsel feels slightly less delicious. And then the third morsel feels slightly less delicious. And then there comes a time when we say no more morsels. I don't want to eat further. I don't want to drink further. The condition of many of us is like that. We are already satisfied in the material world. There is no hunger for Bhagavan. And because there is no hunger for Bhagavan, bhakti doesn't appear tasteful to us. Very significant meaning behind the verse. We can imagine the thought process that went behind composing the verse. Sri Rai Ramananda was an immediate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Rai Ramananda is asking, how much hunger and thirst do you have? And to the degree that you have hunger and thirst, to that degree you will experience satisfaction on the path. And to the degree that you are already satisfied, to that degree you will say, I don't want, it's all right. One weekend devotee, I am okay. On the weekend, I will wear Indian clothes and come to the temple. So bhakti is not about wearing Indian clothes on the weekend. It's bhakti is a full-time activity. It is supposed to be done within the mind, 24 hours a day. Of course, visiting the temple on weekends is also very nice. It's the beginning. But for those who are becoming more serious, it is imperative that they take this into consideration. Sri Rai Ramananda is telling us something about this. Now, you read this, Mataji? Yes, you have read this. So, dedication related to Krishna is known as Yukta Vairagya. Now, dear devotees, as I said, many people do not have that hunger and thirst because they are already satisfied. Already satisfied with what? Please tell me. Material world. They're already satisfied with the material world. So, why do they need Bhagavan? And why should Bhagavan need them? There should be one genuine reason for Bhagavan to pay attention to them. And therefore, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, even in the material world, don't go overboard with your enjoyment. Because once you start doing that, then the gateway to genuine bhakti starts closing automatically. It's a very nice verse in the Madhurya Kadambini that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes. Vishaya Vishta विष्णुवावेशः सुदूरतः वारुणी दिग्गतं वस्तु व्रजन् ऐन्द्रीं किमाप्नुयात्. So what is the problem that Bhagwan has with my sense enjoyment? Why doesn't Bhagwan said don't do vairagya. All right, I like that. But when Bhagwan says don't do too much sense enjoyment, I don't like that so much. Why doesn't Bhagwan help me in my sense enjoyment? So Bhagwan is not against anybody's sense enjoyment. You can do as much sense enjoyment as you want, but it comes at a cost. Are you willing to pay the price? It will come at the cost of your advancement on the path. Now, please raise your hands. How many of us are willing to pay the price? The price to pay is that you do not advance on the path. Nobody will raise hands in public. Privately, yeah, it's okay. Advancement is unlimited lifetimes are remaining. Why make all the advancement in this one life? It's not the final life. I'll get many more chances. Some advancement in the next life. I have seen devotees tell this to me on my face. That Prabhu, I don't think I'm going to make it in this life. Next life I will try harder. So I cannot understand the mindset because they're as if they are trying to strike a business deal with Bhagwan. 50% I will give in this life, 50% I will give in the next life. But prema is not a business deal. Either you have prema or you don't have prema. Isn't it? Let's say, dear devotees, let's say all of you think of yourself as looking for a marriage proposal. And the person who's about to get married to you says, I'll show 50% dedication to you in this life. And by Bhagwan's arrangement, we will meet in next life. The remaining 50% I will show in my next life. Will you agree to get married? No? Then why are you giving that same proposal to Bhagwan? Why give that same proposal to Bhagwan? Yes, huh? He's always there, of course. But I am not always there in this life. I am not going to be always there in this body. He may be always there. But the dedication has to come from my side, and one pointed dedication. Now, even after giving many talks and lectures on this subject matter, I know that the ground reality is not going to change. There may be still many who may say that no, it's okay, 50% in this life, 50% in next life. But it is the duty of a speaker to speak because the previous acharyas have warned about it. Vishay Avishta Chittanam, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in Madhurya Kadambini, Vishay Avishta Chitta, whose heart is absorbed in sense gratification, too much absorbed in sense gratification. Vishnu Aveshaha Sudurataha, thinking about Bhagwan favorably is far away from them. Far away. They will not even have positive dreams of Bhagwan. Even in their dreams, they will not be able to remember Bhagwan. Sudurataha. Forget about it. Example is given. Varuni diggatam vastu. If an object is lost in the east, Vrajan Aindrim kim apnuyat. Can you find that object in the west? Please tell me, if an object lost in the east can be found in the west? No. So a devotee lost on the pathways of sense enjoyment cannot be found on the pathways of remembrance of Bhagwan. This is the simple meaning of the verse. Kindly read the translation, Mataji.
Absorption in thoughts of Vishnu is far away from those whose hearts are absorbed in sense gratification. How can an object lost in the western direction be found by searching in the east?
Is it possible? No. It's like this one of those types of verses. When you manage to fold the sky into a purse, at that time you will become happy. So the day you manage to find an object lost in the east, in the western direction, that day maybe by sense enjoyment you can find Bhagwan. So a devotee is supposed to be very balanced. As I said, you have to walk on a tightrope, especially for those who are sadhakas, practitioners, you have to walk on a tightrope. Initially, when you start walking, you will wobble. But unless you wobble, you won't come to know how to walk on that rope. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami says how much enjoyment should a sadhaka accept. And this is the balance that Sri Rupa Goswami is going to specify. This is limb number 8 of 64 limbs. Please repeat after me. Yavadarthanuvartita. Accepting as much as needed for one's bhakti. Now, people may ask, how do I know how much I need for my bhakti? As I said, you have to walk on a tightrope. When you start walking, sometimes you will go in the direction of sense enjoyment, sometimes you will go in the direction of renunciation. If you are having nirbandha, I hope you are able to understand what is nirbandha. Hmm? For example, a person who's trying to lose weight, sometimes he fasts too much, and then as a result, he eats too much. I hope you're able to understand. Huh? So he wobbles in the beginning. It takes some time for him to find that balance. But once he finds that balance, then he's able to walk on that tightrope. So similarly, initially, Sri Rupa Goswami says he's indicating that initially sometimes you may accept more than what you need. Sometimes you may accept less than what you need. And then your bhakti may be affected a little bit. But gradually you learn to walk on that tightrope. And this is the 8th limb amongst the 64 limbs of bhakti. Every devotee's quota is different. One man's medicine is another man's poison. So we are not having a common standard for everybody. Vedic culture is like that. They don't give exact measurements in kilograms and meters and liters and so on and so forth. Vedic culture says, like, if somebody asks, how much grain should I eat? So Vedic culture will say, 2 fistfuls. Now, who's 2 fistfuls? Your 2 fistfuls. I hope you're able to understand. This is Vedic. Your 2 fistfuls. For a child, the fist is small. For an adult, the fist is bigger. So this is the relativity of Vedic measurements gives it the flexibility for you to find your respective balance. So that is what Sri Rupa Goswami is saying here. Please, this is the verse composed by him. Please sing after me. Yavatasya svanirvaha स्वीकुर्यात् तावदर्थवेत् आधिक्ये न्यूनतायां च च्यवते परमार्थतः यावता स्यात् स्वनिर्वाह, as much as you need for peacefully, happily situating yourself in the world. Svikuriat, accept. Tavad arthavit, an intelligent person should accept that much. Adhikye, if you do too much, if you earn more than that, nyunatayam cha, or if you do less than that, chyavate, you will slip, paramarthata, from the path of transcendence. Here is the translation. Please repeat the translation.
An intelligent soul should only accept as much as is needed for their bhajan. Anything more or less can cause one to slip away from attaining the ultimate goal of life.
So now, who determines what is more or what is less? Please tell me. Yes. And you determine it because you know your own needs very well. Therefore, every devotee is supposed to think intelligently on the path. More than that or less than that, you will start slipping from the path. Too much renounced. What is the side effect of over renunciation? I said in the morning. What is the side effect of over enjoyment? In the previous verse we saw. No possibility of remembering Bhagwan. Both cases you are slipping away. Now you decide. And therefore I said the central point is nirbandha. If one has that nirbandha, that absolute determination that I want to achieve it in this lifetime. That is the central factor which will ensure all the other good qualities. And one who lacks that nirbandha, to them, if even if they try to cultivate all the other qualities, because they don't lack the soul of Krishna bhakti, that nirbandha, therefore it becomes difficult for them to strike a balance. And please always remember that example of the person who wants to lose weight and they have taken a nirbandha. I'll die, but I'll not remain fat. This nirbandha is the driving force behind, uh, even behind a devotee who's practicing Krishna bhakti. So that is the dedication that Sri Rupa Goswami is speaking about. So this is Uttama bhakti, serious bhakti, dear devotees. Now, uh, can you see the term artha, dear devotees, in the second line of the verse? What is the meaning of artha? Huh? Value. Okay. Artha means, usually artha is translated as what? Money. But artha has a greater meaning than money. Artha means all resources that you need to situate yourself happily in life. I am showing the definition of artha from the sage Vatsyayan. And what do you need to be happy in life? Because often devotees overdo, sometimes they overdo renunciation, sometimes they overdo enjoyment. So what is exactly artha? What do we need in order to become happy in life? This is given by Vatsyayan Muni. Please repeat after me. Vidya, Bhumi, Hiranya, Pashu, Dhanya, Bhandopaskara, Mitradinam, Arjanam, Arjitasya, Vivardhanam, Artha. What is Artha? What should we collect? It's not simply money. You need many more things beside money. So first is, dear devotees, the attainment, arjanam, and increase of many things. First and foremost, vidya. What is the meaning of vidya, dear devotees? Knowledge. Knowledge of how to earn money, how to earn resources. First and foremost, you will need that. Second, bhumi. What is the meaning of bhumi, dear devotees? Land. You'll need your own place to stay. You'll need your own place to stay. Bhumi you will need. Third, hiranya. What is the meaning of hiranya? Gold and precious metals for investment. You will need this. Fourth, pashu. What is the meaning of pashu? Domestic animals. Right? If you're staying in a village, you will need domestic animals. Fifth, dhanya. What is dhanya? Grains. Good amount of foodstuffs in the home. You will need. Then upaskara. What is upaskara, dear devotees? Utensils. Then household articles. And mitra. What is the meaning of mitra? Friends. With whom will you enjoy? Like Arjuna said in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, if we conquer them, with whom will we enjoy? If nobody is remaining to enjoy. So a little bit of material enjoyment is needed for every soul in the world. But Sri Rupa Goswami says, accept as much as you need for your progress on the path. Artha. And artha did not simply mean money. Artha means all of these things. Kindly read the translation.
The attainment and increase of knowledge, land, gold, and other precious metals and gems, domestic animals, grains, utensils, household articles, friends, etc., is known as artha.
Yeah. So artha should not be restricted to money. There are many people who have a lot of money in their bank accounts, but they are terribly unhappy. And then there are people who have little money in their bank, but they have big family. They have grains, they have a home to stay. So dear devotees, this is a complete definition of what is artha. There is no meaning to money in a bank if you don't have friends and family to enjoy with. So this is very important for all of us. As a community, it's very important for all of us to understand. Prosperity, overall prosperity. I always give this example. In my childhood, my village, I used to go for summer vacation almost 3 months. The summer vacation, all the cousins, 10 or 12 cousins will gather. A big family, 20, 30 people, and 10 cousins. And we have to stay for 2 and 3 months and nothing, no studying, only playing. That's it. And it was a big home. And on the top floor of the home, they used to store mangoes, crates full of mangoes. And the part of the world where I come from, we have the best mango in the world. Hmm. Which is the best mango in the world? Alfonso. And which part of India does Alfonso grow in? Maharashtra. With the best mangoes and crates full of mangoes. And my uncles would tell me, whenever you want to eat a mango, just go on the floor, take as much as you want. You eat. There's no price to be paid. In fact, when we would return back to the city, they would pack 1 or 2 sacks of mangoes, take to your, because there you will not get to eat so much. So now I am in the city, and as compared to my childhood, I might have more money in my bank account. But today in the city, if I have to purchase even 1 crate of mango, I have to think twice. So there is a difference between dhana, money, and artha. And this difference is very clearly highlighted here by Vatsa and Muni. This literature, Kam Sutra, when it came to the Western world, a very perverted form of this literature was presented here. In the original literature, when studied with the sutras, it gives a detailed understanding of how to live a holistic life to fulfill material desires without breaking the codes of dharma. That is the purpose of this literature. So the literature is about calm, material desires, but the Acharya also defines what is artha because he understands the importance of artha. Once again, dear devotees, Yavata syat svanirvaha Swikuryat tavat arthavet Adhikye nyunatayam cha Shyavate paramarthatah. Rupa Goswami says, become arthavit, intelligent in your artha. Now we know what is artha, dear devotees. Swikuryat tavad, accept that much artha, yavata syat svanirvaha, by which your bhajan will go on nicely. Adhikye, if you do too much, nyunatayam, if you do too less, chyavate, you will slip from the path. Paramarthata, you will slip from that path. Here is an Acharya who is saying, don't deny your basic necessities of life. It's a wonderful expression by an Acharya. Don't deny your basic necessities of life in order to overdo your Vairagya. So, a similar advice was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Raghunath Das Goswami. I'll break from the presentation and I'll show that verse. मर्कट वैराग्य न कर लोक देखाइया यथा योग्य विषय भुंज अनासक्त हैया. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 16.238. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami is deeply excited. He wants to renounce everything and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advice to him, Markat Vairagya na kara loka dikhaiya. You should not make yourself a show bottle devotee and become a false renunciant. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is advising him for renunciation or against renunciation. What is he advising him? Against. Now, what should I do? Dear devotees, please repeat after me. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a befitting way, and do not become attached to it. Can you think of any guru giving this advice to his disciple? So that's an unconventional guru who understands how to walk on that tightrope. And later, dear devotees, who is the most renounced person in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya? Raghunath Das Goswami. The biggest example of renunciation in our Sampradaya is whom? Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. But the first advice that he was given was about enjoy properly without getting attached. This was step one. Why? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also understands. Do it too much, do it too less, you will slip from the path. So here is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu trying to teach the same principle to Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. So this advice, when it comes from the Gurujanas, Sri Rupa Goswami is also giving the same advice. Svikurya tavadarthavit, accept as much as you need. Don't deny your basic necessities of happiness. And I have already defined artha, because many times artha is translated only as what? Money. But artha is not money. Artha is everything that you need for happiness and prosperity. Right. Now, if we miss this point and if we still try to overdo Vairagya, then there will be a major negative result in our life. And Sri Rupa Goswami is going to give this warning later in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now, dear devotees, there are 5 rasas described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Most of us know. Can you please name the 5 rasas one by one? What is the first one? Shanta. Neutrality. What is the second one? Dasya. Servitude. What is the third one? Sakhya. Friendship. What is the fourth one? Vatsalya. And the fifth one? Madhurya. Conjugal relationship. Out of these, which is the topmost? Please tell me. Madhurya. And Sri Rupa Goswami, while defining Madhurya Ras in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, gives a warning that Madhurya Ras is not for one category of people. Nivrittanupayogitva Duruhatvadayam rasa. Yeah. Shri Radha Gopinath Ji ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan Ji ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Nivritta. Does anybody know what is the meaning of the term Nivritta? Negation. Detached. Nivritta anupayogitvat. Mataji, kindly read the translation.
This Madhurya ras is unfit to be relished by those who are too detached.
Here, devotees, now let's put all the pieces together and let's try to think of why Sri Rupa Goswami is making this statement. This Madhurya Ras is anupayogi. Anupayogi means not useful for somebody who is nivritta, for somebody who is too detached. Now, can some of you tell me why is he? Let's connect the dots. And some of you please tell me why is he making this statement?
Use sandpaper.
Yeah. He scraped the heart with the sandpaper. Now there is no heart remaining. So where will Madhurya Ras fit? This rasa cannot be had by such people. Sri Jiva Goswami comments and gives a big detailed analysis of this. Dear devotees, how many of you want to see further analysis of this by Sri Jiva Goswami? So dear devotees, here it is. Nivritteshu prakrita shringara rasa samadrishtya bhagavataadapi asmadasad virakteshu anupayogitvat ayogyatva. He says, amongst those who are detached, There are individuals who think of all Madhurya Ras as similar to mundane romance. All Madhurya, what is Madhurya Ras? Don't go into the confidential pastimes of Radha Krishna. Why? You will get materially attached. So when should I read them? Not right now. So when? Well, I don't know. When you are fully renounced. Oh, when I am fully renounced. But Sri Rupa Goswami says, if I become fully renounced, I'll become ineligible. So Sri Jiva Goswami says, those who are too detached, they start running away from Madhurya Ras. And then, even if Madhurya Ras is found in Bhagavatam, they run away from that. And then these people become ineligible for experiencing Madhurya Ras. So this is what is a stark warning for those who try to overdo renunciation. Now, I have already told you the middle path. And everybody has to find their balance. I cannot give one standard for everybody, because many times people come and say, Prabhu, tell us one standard, what we should do and what we should not do. So it is not spoon feeding, dear devotees. You have to intelligently walk on the path and find your balance. I can give as much guidance as Sri Rupa Goswami has given. But if I give one common standard for everybody, then most people will not be able to fit within those standards. And Sri Rupa Goswami says, dear devotees, finally, please become like cuckoos, not like camels. Alright, this is the final verse, and I will end at this point. Wonderful verse in the Vidagdha Madhav Natakam of Sri Rupa Goswami. Udasatam nam rasana vigyan Kratau tavami rasikah sphuranti क्रमेलकैकाममुपेक्षितेऽपि पिकाः सुखं यान्ति परं रसाले Udasatam nama rasana bhigya. Those individuals who are so renounced that they don't understand rasa, let them ignore me freely. They can ignore me freely. I don't care about such individuals who don't understand bhakti ras. Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, let them do their renunciation unlimitedly. I don't care. Rasikas puranti. But the Rasikas will love me. Sri Rupa Goswami, Rasikas will love me. And then he says, Pikaha sukham yanti param rasale. Rasale is mango fruit. Sri Rupa Goswami also understands the value of mango fruit. Rasale. Pikaha sukham yanti. The cuckoos happily taste the mango fruit, because the cuckoos are rasikas, connoisseurs of mango fruit. But there is one animal who will not eat mango fruit even if you put an entire crate in front of it. Kramelaka. And Kramelaka has a similar word in English. What is the similar word in English of Kramelaka? Camel. And dear devotees, the camel doesn't eat mangoes. The camel eats something else. What does the camel eat? Thorns. And when the camel eats thorns, there is some rus that comes from within. Which rus comes from within? Blood. And the camel says, wow. So he is making a sarcastic remark on those who are too renounced. And because of being too renounced, the only pleasure they can derive is by spitting on the material world. Oh, how disgusting the material world is. Let's get out of here as soon as possible. The material world is a most pathetic place, filled of putrid substances. Acha, but tell me something positive. First, get out of the world. These people cannot become Rasikas. So the Rasika will be seen relishing Bhakti Ras. Now, those who are not Rasikas, Sri Rupa Goswami says, it's okay if you ignore me. I am alright if you ignore me. So this wonderful attitude is given by Sri Rupa Goswami in Vidagdha Madhav Natakam, the very beginning.
Those who are averse to this bhakti ras can happily show indifference towards it. while those who are expert in it will certainly always dive deep. The cuckoos relish mangoes on the trees, while the camels prefer to avoid them and eat thorns instead.
So wonderful verse, devotees, with deep meaning hidden behind it. I'll end with I'll end by saying that Gaudiya Vaishnavism is not a religion which promises happiness in the afterlife by sacrificing happiness in the present life. That's not Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Gaudiya Vaishnavism is a religion which promises happiness at all points of time and asks you to stop worrying about the afterlife. Be properly situated on the path and try to develop prema. And the more you try to develop prema, the more you will be happy from that very moment. And then you will not need to worry about whether this is my final life or not. It relieves you of the burden of moksha. Moksha is a big burden. It's a big burden that many of us are carrying. Will I get liberated at the end of life or not? Once that burden is relieved, then you can focus purely on prema and bhakti ras, and then your life is happy and you can be causelessly devoted to Bhagavan. It relieves you of this big burden. Sri Rupa Goswami says there are two witches which attack the heart: the witch of sense and the desire for sense enjoyment, and the witch of the desire for liberation. So the witch of the desire for liberation also burdens the heart, and Gaudiya Vaishnavism relieves you of that particular burden. Thank you very much, devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat. Yadatra saushtavam kinchit tad guru reva me nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. It's possible I might have slipped myself. I'm also walking on a tightrope, isn't it? So while speaking, I might have slipped. If I have slipped and I have made a mistake, vidvamsah, you are learned devotees. Purayantu tat. You correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushtavam kinchit. If there's anything nice, if I was able to walk on the tightrope, please know my guru was teaching me. Tad guru reva. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, devotees. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, are we over time or do we have time? Okay, wonderful. Yes. Yeah, let's give the mic. Your good name?
Subhadra.
Super. Yes.
So I was remembering this verse from the Bhagavatam that goes Ante Narayana Smriti. I think the verse is that the value of our life is tested if at the time of death we can remember Lord Krishna.
Yes.
So I was wondering why the stress was given at the end of life. If the purpose is not to go back to Godhead at the end of life, why not at every moment of our life, as you were saying?
Oh, wonderful. So everybody understood the question? For those who didn't understand the question had a reference of a verse in the beginning. So I'll show that verse first and foremost so that we understand the reference. She's quoting this verse from 216 Ante Narayana Smriti, which says at the end of life you have to remember Bhagwan Narayan to attain success. So if the whole stress is upon remembering at the end, why are we stressing so much upon remembering every moment? That's because if you see the first three lines of the verse, they are speaking about other forms of yoga. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janma Labha Parah Pumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. So you quoted the final part. First three lines are speaking about which forms of yoga this is applicable to. Sankhya, Yoga, Swadharma, etc. Please read the translation. You have the mic. Please read the translation.
The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit.
All right. So complete knowledge of matter and spirit. This is which yoga, dear devotees? Sankhya. All right. Next.
By practice of mystic powers.
All right. This is which yoga, dear devotees? Ashtanga yoga. All right.
Or by perfect discharge of occupational duty.
This is Varnashram Dharma. Right. is to.
is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life.
So please tell me if Bhakti Yoga was mentioned here. No.
I think I've heard that Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, the result is the same, no? In the Bhagavad Gita, doesn't it say that?
Of course, if Sankhya Yoga, any yoga that culminates in the Bhakti Yoga can give the same result. No problem. But let me show you a verse from the Bhakti Yoga point of view. This verse says Ante Narayana Smriti. Now let me show a verse from the Bhakti Yoga point of view. Smartavya sadatam Vishnu Vismartavyo na jatu chet Sarva vidhi nishedhasya Etayoreva kinkara. Now look at the elegance of the Bhakti Yoga point of view. Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Vismartavyo na jatu chit. Never forget Krishna. Sarve vidhi nishedasya. All other rules and regulations are servants of this one rule and one regulation. This is from the Bhakti Yoga point of view. Other forms of yoga will keep you busy in other things besides Bhakti Yoga. And at the end, they want you to remember Narayan. Bhakti Yoga says, why do that? Throughout you remember Narayan. That is the difference. Ashtanga Yoga will tell you Yam and Niyam. First, practice basic rules and regulations of Ashtanga Yoga. What are Yam and Niyam? Satya, speak the truth. Astikya, be a theist, don't be an atheist. Brahmacharya, observe mental and physical celibacy, purity of thought. They will engage you in these things. Then pranayam, purak, kumbhak, rechak, then asan, and then ante, at the end, Narayana Smriti. And so Sri Rupa Goswami says, Sarvatra Narayana Smriti, everywhere Narayana Smriti. Why at the end? It's not a business deal with Narayan that at the end I will give you the price. I will remember you. So that is the difference between other forms of yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So I hope that answers your query to a sufficient degree. If there is anything else, you can think about it. We will go to somebody and then come back to you. Right? Anybody else wants to ask anything? Yes, Prabhu. Your good name, Prabhuji?
My name is Vishwambar Chaitanya Das. I was wondering, I'm sure you've thought about this, like somehow this strikes us, I mean myself anyways, as news, as a different angle, as fresh, so why is that so in one sense?
It is the default angle of the Bhakti Rasamrita. It is what we are supposed to do. It strikes us as different because often while explaining Bhakti, we have a very reductionist approach. Like Yukta Vairagya, we explain as take anything and use it in the service of Krishna. So when we explain Bhakti using a reductionist approach, we often miss the details. Now when you start seeing the finer details, then you realize, oh, achha, it was not like this. There were a few nuances which I did not see. So it's like seeing a painting. You see a painting from far away, yeah, it's a nice painting, very nice. But when you start looking at the nuances of the painting, you realize, what are the depths of thought that went into making the painting. So that's how you can see Mona Lisa from a distance and yeah, nice, all right. But then when you see the nuances that it looks at you from whichever angle you look at, she's always staring at you, no matter which angle you look at her. And then you start looking at the finer details of the painting. Then you realize the thought process that went behind it. And finally, the purpose of studying the painting is that you become an artist yourself. The purpose of studying Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is you become a devotee, bhakta yourself, as Sri Rupa Goswami has given. I've always said this, that love is always in the details. And anybody who loves the path will love the details. All right. So I hope that answers your query. Thank you so much. Yes.
One very small comment, maybe you can comment on that. This verse, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. So it's like Mukti Kami. It's also a almost like a material desire to have a strong desire to attain mukti, and you can never be peaceful when you have such a desire. So that's very much in line with your presentation. But my question is, many times you hear that you have, before you go into the 10th canto where there is the rasa, there are 9 cantos. And those 9 cantos are meant to make you completely renounce from the material world before you can actually enter that rasa. So there it seems, that's what we always hear, you know. First the 9 cantos, step by step, you become fully renounced. And then you can enter Bhakti Rasa. So can you comment on that?
Yeah, sure,
Because
sure.
it's...
So the first 9 cantos are not meant for renunciation. First 9 cantos are meant for understanding Bhagavad Tattva, the Siddhantas related to Bhagwan. Because there is not much about renunciation in the first 9 cantos as much as it is about understanding who Bhagwan is and how Bhagwan operates the material world. Now, I see when Sri Jiva Goswami composed the Sandarbhas, 6 Sandarbhas, he gave a specific order in the 6 Sandarbhas. I will type it here, the order in which, because these were commentaries on the Bhagavatam. The first Sandarbha is known as Tattva Sandarbha. To understand what is Tattva. Tattva means the absolute truth. So understand who is that Tattva. And then Sri Jiva Goswami says that Tattva has 3 names. Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabdyate. We say there are 3 names to that Tattva, Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So the next thing to understand is Bhagavan, Bhagavat Sandarbha. So this is the second Sandarbha to understand, Bhagavat Sandarbha. Understand Bhagwan first, because by understanding Bhagwan, you will automatically understand Brahman, the lower aspects. And if some details are still remaining, then you understand Paramatma Sandarbha, understand Paramatma nicely. Finally, even amongst all forms of Bhagwan, the best form is Krishna. So understand Krishna Sandarbha. And after understanding Krishna Sandarbha, understand how to perform his bhakti, and finally understand how to love him. This is the order in which the Sandarbhas are there. Similarly, the order in which Bhagavatam is there, it's not for renunciation, for understanding Bhagavad Tattva. Understand the Tattva of Bhagavan first, because on the solid ground of Tattva, the big palace of Rasa looks very nice. It looks very nice. But without that solid ground of Tattva, then Rasa cannot have a stable place to stand upon. Because Bhagwan will be crying, Bhagwan will be speaking lies, Bhagwan will be doing so many activities which may seem to be against Dharma. Somebody who is not aware of Tattva will get confused. Sometimes Bhagwan's associates are crying in separation. The devotee may think, what is the use of going to the spiritual world if even after going there I have to cry? Now, it will be explained in the Sandarbhas that there is no material misery involved in all of this. There's no material misery involved in all of this. So Sri Jiva Goswami explains, misery when it goes through the framework of rasa becomes immense joy. And therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent the final 12 years of his life relishing union or separation. Please tell me. Separation. Is separation joyous or painful? So who will relish pain? There is a big question there. Who will relish pain? When pain goes through the framework of rasa, pain becomes joyous. It's a very important thing to understand. Even in the material world, when pain goes through the framework of rasa, it becomes joyous. And I've given this example many times. I come from Mumbai. Mumbai is the city which spoiled entire India. There's one industry in Mumbai. Which industry? So you're all Rasikas, you know. So every year Bollywood produces thousands of romantic songs. These songs can be broadly classified into 2 categories: songs of union and songs of separation. Now, can you tell me which songs are appreciated more? Separation. Why? It's more rasa. Ah, wonderful. So, when unhappiness, misery goes through the framework of rasa, it becomes joyous. There's a wonderful theory working behind all of this. So we need to understand the heart of Sri Rupa Goswami. Otherwise, we'll never be able to touch this path. There is no suffering amongst the associates of Bhagavan. No. There is absolutely no material suffering amongst the associates of Bhagavan. It is all huge enjoyment. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you a statement by Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan. It's a wonderful comment. When I found this, I made it a point that I will note down this statement. Yeah. Here he is saying, Vraje Prakat Leelayam, Shri Rupa Goswami saying, Treen Masan Viraho Amuna. When Bhagwan went from Vrindavan, 3 months the Vrajavasis suffered in separation. Now, suffering is happiness or misery? Please tell me. Misery, right? Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, in the commentary to the verse, says something I would like all of us to repeat. Please repeat. Viraha, Ananda, Aswada, Nirbharo. Viraha, Ananda, Aswada, Nirbharo. An overflow of the joyous waves of separation. Please tell me, how many of us would like to relish? Raise your hands. Everybody wants happiness. Viraha Ananda, Aswad, the taste, Nirbharo, a big overflow of that occurred for the Vrajvasis when Bhagwan went away from Vrindavan. Isn't it? Why will Bhagwan put his own associates in material suffering? It's a very simple thing. In the material world, when you work for a corporate firm, you're traveling with the boss. The boss will ensure that you don't have even the slightest of misery when you are traveling with him. This is the material world. And when you are traveling with Bhagwan in all the pastimes, Bhagwan will put you in material misery. He is Bhagwan. He is Sarva Deveshwareshwara. He is the boss of all bosses. So this is very important understanding.
But Prabhu, why are we not calling the name Mathura anymore then? Why are we not calling the name Mathura anymore? Because Krishna went to Mathura and then you had this Viraha Ananda.
Yeah.
So
why are we not calling the name Mathura?
Yeah, because you remember the seminar you gave in Germany.
Yeah.
It was mentioned in the seminar that when the crow was flying.
Oh, Mathuranath. Yeah, yes.
And you said from now on we will not anymore mention the name Mathura. It's too cruel.
Yeah, it's too cruel.
Now we say that actually by Krishna going to Mathura, the gopis enjoyed tremendously.
This is hidden. Don't tell this to anybody. On the surface, you have to cry. I hope you're able to understand. On the surface, you have to cry. They say, you have a son. You and your son decide today we will do a drama. And you will become Hiranyakashipu, you become Prahlad. Drama. Alright? In the drama, both of you have to fight. So in the drama, will you say that we are internally we are enjoying very much? Please tell me. No. It's a drama. Enjoy the fight while you are playing the drama. That is the whole purpose of this entire. The Bhagavatam says it's a drama. Na lakshase mudadrisha nato natya dharo yatha. You are invisible to the foolish observer exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. It's a big drama. The whole purpose is to relish ras. A very wonderful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it reminds me. It is all these connected verses. Yes. Krishna re nachaye prema, Bhakta re nachaye, Apane nachaye tine, नाचे एक ठाए. So, prema, ecstatic love of Krishna makes Krishna dance. It makes his devotees dance. And that prema also dances personally. In this way, all three dance together in one place. That's it. Somebody made a poetic translation of this. Prema makes Krishna dance. Prema makes the devotee dance. And prema dances itself in a whirlwind trance. In this way, Natya. Natya, or dramaturgy, is the essence of all the pastimes. Why is it called a pastime and not history? Think about it. Why is it called a pastime and not history? Of course, it is history, but it is history done as a pastime. So that is, oh, I hope that answers your query. So externally, you have to say, oh, Mathurana, we don't want to utter that name. I don't want to see that black-faced person, like Sri Radhadesh, I don't want to see that black-faced person. I don't want to have anything to do with him. All these emotions are parts of rasa. Like that. I hope that answers your query. Thank you.
Can we answer the whole question?
Huh?
Do we have time still for another?
Yeah, yeah. Whenever Prabhu says, we stop. Yeah, I am okay.
Nobody left yet, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, your lectures have been very different for me to hear.
I hope positive.
In the positive,
Yeah.
positive. Yeah. No, because as a little bit, I think like that devotee was saying, because when Prabhupada came, he came at a time when there was hippies and everything. So he had to sense enjoyment was their motto, right? So he had to really scale back and put but now you're saying we have to, but he also says common sense is actually what a devotee should have, right? So you're saying everyone has to walk their tightrope.
Yeah.
But how to, because this is if we already have so much this tendency to enjoy, right? So not to go the other way. Oh, well, we're supposed to have a happy life. We really need to use our common sense. It's actually very interesting. But how, alone, it's hard. So it's actually important to surround yourself, right, with.
You may do 1,000 things, but there is one thing I mentioned in the talk, nirbandha. And I cannot stress it enough. Now, I don't know how to put it in other words. You understand Hindi? Thoda samajhte na? I'll speak something in Hindi. Then I'll also try to explain in English. हिंदी में बोलते जीने का वजूद, the very purpose for which I am alive is called nirbandha. When that nirbandha is Krishna sambandhe, the very reason for me being alive, the reason why I wake up in the morning is because I want to see Bhagwan. That will take care of everything. But do you have that? You don't have to say yes.
I don't.
No, do you have that? Often that term in Yukta Vairagya, the most important term is nirbandha. It's often not explained. That every step you don't check whether I am too attached to it or too detached to it. Every step you don't check whether I'm accepting only as much as needed. The one thing you need to have is nirbandha. That absolute purpose of life, that this is what I am meant to do. This is what I was made for. When that is there, sooner or later, a fat person who has the nirbandha to become slim, sooner or later he'll become slim. No matter how many times he wobbles, sooner or later he becomes slim because the nirbandha is there. And if the nirbandha is not there, then he'll renounce all foodstuffs for 1 month. And after that, he'll purchase 10 tubs of ice cream and then eat. And then he's, I don't have friends, therefore I can't become slim. Oh, I don't have good trainer, so I can't become slim. Oh, I don't have good supplements, so I can't become slim. No, you don't have the nirbandha, therefore you cannot become slim. Isn't it? That's a fact. So, so that is very important. So I thank you for allowing me to highlight nirbandha again. I cannot highlight it enough. And I have tried to translate it as much as possible, but I hope you get the sense of what nirbandha is.
Because I feel like sometimes a lot of new devotees, they expect the temple or someone to tell you how you should behave, or this is the amount of, renunciation that you should have. But actually, really, it's individual, right?
Yeah, it's very individual process. So temples, communities are helping us, and they are needed to help us. But in Hindi, there is a saying, कि घोड़े को पानी तक ले जाए पर पानी पिलाए नहीं. You can take a horse till water, but you can't make the horse drink water. Isn't it? The volition of drinking water is upon the horse. Similarly, the temple will give you all the facilities to go near Bhagwan. But can the temple check what is going on within your heart? That the thing. Nobody in the temple can check what is going on within your heart. So that is your individual, determination that everybody needs to have. And the temple has good faith that you have that determination. That they put faith in you. Everything, all relationships are based on trust. The temple is also put trust in you. You put trust in the temple. But the final volition should come from your side, because Bhagavan needs to know. Was it the temple that made you surrender, or did you have that personal desire to, have prema? So that is like, I hope that answers your query.
So to be able to do Yukta Vairagya, you said we have to be detached from the objects that we're going to be using.
Detachment is a side effect. What was see, there are two types of characteristics, main characteristics and side characteristics. What is the main characteristic of Yukta Vairagya?
Nirbandha.
Nirbandha. So you only need to have one thing, Nirbandha. Other things will develop gradually. Right?
So we can use things because even when we're attached to them, we use them in Krishna service.
Yeah.
And that's also Yukta Vairagya, or
no. If you become attached to them, then you are slipping away from the definition. It means your attachment to the objects is greater than your nirbandha. I hope you're able to understand. If the nirbandha was supreme, you wouldn't have that attachment to the object. And therefore, I'm saying devotees should meditate on the verse. Meditate on the verse. There are three characteristics given. Non-attachment to sense objects is the first characteristic. Accepting only as much as needed is the second characteristic. Nirbandha is the third characteristic. Meditate on the three characteristics and please tell me which is the main characteristic. Nirbandha. And I gave the example. I gave an example from the material world so you can compare with that example. A person who's trying to lose weight, who has the nirbandha of losing weight. Either I'll lose weight or I'll die. But I'll not remain like this. Now, all the other good qualities will start developing in the person who has the nirbandha of losing weight. Isn't it? So, then, because what we are doing is we are trying to get the characteristics first, and the nirbandha is not there. It's like saying, how do you make a flower? You take 5 petals from 5 different directions, stick them using glue, put fragrance on them, and you have flower. That's not how you make a flower. You need to have the seed. And the flower is an after effect of the seed. So, anasaktasya vishya and detachment from sense objects, accepting only as much as needed, is an after effect of the main characteristic. And what is the main characteristic? Nirbandha. Sri Rupa Goswami, I give material examples because Sri Rupa Goswami gave them often. When a man falls deeply in love with a woman, he sacrifices everything. And When a lady falls deeply in love with a man, she sacrifices everything: family, country, culture. You might have seen in the world, they sacrifice so much. Are they not attached to their country? Are they not attached to their culture? Are they not attached to their family? Why do men and women who have fallen blindly in love sacrifice so much in love? What is that? In one word, they have something which makes that such a sacrifice easily possible. And what is that one word? Nirbandha. So now you understand what is Nirbandha. How to get me? That's the next logical question. But I hope that answers your query. Yeah, but we'll go to Purnamasi Mataji. She has a query.
Thank you. Thank you for the logically bringing the points together. And the whole class is so clear. And you were speaking about Loliam, and so I don't know if I connected right. So Nana Upachar, by varieties of offerings, and sometimes we have this Loliam for some offering or something, and we don't have a Loliam for another aspect of devotional service. Can you say something about this?
Lolium or greed is not defined in relation to specific limbs of bhakti. Lolium is defined in relationship to attaining a relationship with Bhagavan. Do I have the lolya, the greed to enter into a relationship with Bhagavan? What you are saying is we like to offer some limbs to Bhagavan, we don't like to offer some. That is called as Swavasana. Vasana is your inclination. Sri Rupa Goswami has written a verse about that. I'll point out that verse very quickly. Sa bhaktireka mukhyanga Shritanaikangicathava Swavasananusarena Nishthatah siddhikrit bhave. Wonderful Shri Rupa Sa bhakti, that bhakshi who is bhakti, ek mukhyanga ashrita. You can take shelter of one limb, any one limb, or aneka angika athava, or if you like many limbs, you take shelter of many limbs, no problem. But who will decide which limb I should take shelter of, which limb I should not take shelter of? Sri Rupa Goswami says, Swa Vasana Anusarena. Swa Vasana, according to your Vasana. What is Vasana? Your devotional inclinations. Anusarena. You analyze your devotional inclinations. Nishthatah. Do with Nishtha. Siddhikrit bhaved. Even one limb can give you perfection. One limb can give you that perfection. One limb can generate low limb. That one limb you may have vasana, and then you may perform according to that vasana. Bhagwan may become pleased. Guru may become pleased. Low limb. Now I will do everything for Bhagwan. That's all. Thank you. Should we stop or one more query? Last question. Prabhu, you had? You got answered. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said about Yukta Vairagya, that Yukta Vairagya is our path, but it requires great advancement to traverse it, to follow it, to interpret it. So I think many times we used it wrongly, like you can engage anything in Krishna service, that's Yukta Vairagya. But you explained actually what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, that to apply it requires great intelligence. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm thankful if I was able to come close to his intention of explaining Yukta Vairagya.
There's one more question.
Yeah.
I want to remind also devotees that this night there is 1 hour less, so Vairagya, 1 hour less sleep. Mangalarti is 4:30 according to the new time schedule. So you have 1 hour less.
So instead of 10:30, we can sleep at 9:30. We can cheat time itself. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to ask, if we find ourselves being hard-hearted, what is the remedy? Is there a remedy? Because from what we heard, it felt a bit sad or discouraging.
Yeah. What is the remedy if we are hard-hearted? The remedy is to, one of the most effective remedies is to associate with a person who is rasik. Because in their association, we start gaining that quality gradually. So, by associating with a person or listening to a person who has that taste, we develop taste. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives an example in the Rag Vartma Chandrika that sometimes we do not have taste for a particular food item. For example, in my childhood, I absolutely disliked Karela, bitter gourd. Bitter gourd. So I don't like Karela. So if somebody says Karela, I said no. The 1 year I went to Mayapur and they were cooking Karela, but they had cooked it in a different way and in mustard oil. And when I had that Karela, I said, I love Karela. So he gives this example, of food rasa. So sometimes you may not be inclined to a particular rasa because the heart may have dried out or whatever, for whatever reason. But then when an expert chef comes and that expert chef, you relish the preparations made by them, then you say, yeah, now at least I am willing to entertain the possibility of relishing that. So that is where the journey begins. So that is, you need to find an expert chef who can cook something in such a way that something that you don't like, you start liking it again. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So tomorrow there is a next seminar starting by His Grace Hari Prasad Prabhu, and it's named The Three Intermediate Rasas, and it will start tomorrow morning, and the second session will be on Tuesday morning, the third session will be on Tuesday evening, and the fourth session will be on Wednesday morning. So there's 4 sessions about the 3 intermediate rasas. And also tomorrow, Hari Prasad Prabhu will give a lecture at 11:30 till 12:30 about the glories of Sri Ram.
It's a general lecture full of people. Everybody visits, right?
Everybody can come.
Okay. But no,
Or you want to forbid them to come?
but people are coming around now, right?
Yes.
Then you need
Mhm.
newcomers to do this.
Yes.
It will be more towards me.
Yes. But still, it's Rasik. Hare Krishna. Have a good evening.
Dus dan moeten we waarschijnlijk naar de batterij gekeken.
Maar Girivara doet dat normaal 's ochtends. Ik snap morgenochtend wel.
He's saying that maybe laptop item you already purchased for me. I was busy with my work. Sorry to
He should copy all the data to the cloud. That needs to be done. बीच में जो आज ऊपर था आपको देखा था जब वो अपने आप नहीं करता था प्रभुजी ने शेयर किया था टाइटल चेंज किया था उस स्लाइड में and sometimes it feels a little bored in this slide. That is why we felt that it was stopped. Data cloud में चला जाए, which he's saying we already have. If anything happens, my laptop is there, or whatever laptop, data cloud से pull कर देंगे, then it will be back and running easily. So main point is कि data should be preserved, which he's saying it is.
I want to be a all the issues.
It's not as advanced as
HP or not? I don't know, but using as a spare. आपका fix even है क्योंकि आपका जहाँ प्राण है आपका करेगा
Data is the most important thing, not the hardware. If data has been, that is the most important thing, and that is completely his responsibility in the cloud. Then any laptop, I'm carrying two laptops myself, then it's a matter of pulling it.
I will think about it. Then give me time. या अगर कुछ हुआ ना तो उसके अगले लेक्चर से मैं इनके लैपटॉप में डाउनलोड करके कर सकता हूँ, वो हो जाएगा। That is taken care.
अगर बीच में ये होता है, it's a 5 minute down time. 5 minute का इंटरप्शन रहेगा, डेटा कॉपी करना है जो उनके लैपटॉप में मतलब anyway it has to be should be in cloud. It is if that is not there then you are in trouble. Having a separate hardware is not having the same hardware.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Very good. Machine here, good state, to some extent. Krishna. We know how there is too low in the ground as a result of some humidity and then some mixing of mushrooms. Not mushrooms, but it's humid house. For us, it's okay. For him, if you don't mind, we actually read Krishna book at this time as he's already waiting. And I don't want to get in trouble with her. She's quite strict with me. So. Yes. So normally speaking now we read Krishna book until 8:15. And then there will be bhajans till 9:15. And 10 to 9 is the last darshan.
10 to 9?
10 to 9 is last darshan.
Last darshan.
Welcome to Radhadesh. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna. So, we read from Krishna book like every day. Our pleasure. And before we start reading, there's an invocation. Would you like to sing? Shall I sing? Okay. So the invocation is on page number 1 of this wonderful book called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And it is a summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's like a window to the spiritual world. And the invocation goes like this on page number 1 of the book. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshama. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Rakshama. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshama. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. So, which page are we?
332.
Akrura was afraid. However, because he had been deputed by Kamsa, the enemy of Krishna, he thought, I'm going to see Krishna as a messenger of the enemy. And at the same time, he thought, Krishna is in everyone's heart as the super soul, so he must know my heart. Although Akrura was trusted by the enemy of Krishna, his heart was clear. He was a pure devotee of Krishna. He risked becoming Kamsa's deputy just to meet Krishna. He was certain that although he was going as a representative of Kamsa, Krishna would not accept him as an enemy. Even though I'm on a sinful mission, being deputed by Kamsa, when I approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I shall stand before him with all humility and folded hands. Surely he will be pleased with my devotional attitude. Maybe he will smile lovingly, and look upon me, and thereby free me from all kinds of sinful reactions. I shall then be on a platform of transcendental bliss and knowledge. And since Krishna knows my heart, certainly, when I approach him, he will embrace me. Not only am I a member of the other dynasty, but I'm his relative, an unalloyed pure devotee. By his merciful embrace, surely my body, heart, and soul will be completely cleansed of the actions and reactions of my past life. When our bodies touch, I will immediately stand up with folded hands with all humility. Certainly, Krishna and Balaram will call me Akrura, uncle, and at the same time, my whole life will be glorious. Unless one is recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this life cannot be successful. It is clearly stated here that one should try to become recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's service and devotion, without which the human form of life is condemned. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is equal to everyone. He has no friends and no enemies, but he is inclined to a devotee who renders him service with devotional love. The Bhagavad Gita also declares that the Supreme Lord is responsive in proportion to the devotional service rendered by the devotee. Akrura thought that Krishna was like the desire tree in the heavenly planets, which give fruit according to the desire of the worshipper. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also the source of everything. The devotee must know how to render service unto him and thus be recognized by him. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is therefore explained that one should serve both the spiritual master and Krishna simultaneously, and in that way make progress in Krishna consciousness. Service rendered to Krishna under the directions of the spiritual master is bona fide service, because the spiritual master is the manifested representation of Krishna. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says that when one satisfies the spiritual master, he satisfies the Supreme Lord. It's exactly like service in the government office. One has to work under the supervision of the department head, the departmental heads. If the supervisor of the department is satisfied with the service of a particular person, promotion and increase in pay will come automatically.
Akrura then thought, when Krishna and Balaram are pleased with my behavior, certainly they will take my hand, receive me within their home, and offer me all kinds of respectable hospitalities. And they will surely ask me about the activities of Kamsa and his friends. In this way, Akrura, the son of Sripalka, meditated on Sri Krishna on his journey from Mathura. He reached Vrindavan by the end of the day. Akrura passed the whole journey without knowing how long it took. When he reached Vrindavan, the sun was setting. As soon as he entered the boundaries of Vrindavan, he saw the hoofprints of the cows and Lord Krishna's footprints, impressed with the signs of his souls, the flag, trident, thunderbolt, and lotus flower. These symbols on the soles of the Lord's transcendental lotus feet are worshipped by all the demigods and other great personalities throughout the three worlds. Upon seeing the footprints of Krishna, Akrura immediately jumped down from the chariot out of respect. He became overwhelmed with all the symptoms of ecstasy. He wept and his body trembled. Out of extreme jubilation, upon seeing the dust touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, Akrura fell flat on his face and began to roll on the ground. Akrura's journey to Vrindavan is exemplary. One who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrura and always think of the pastimes and activities of the Lord. As soon as one reaches the boundary of Vrindavan, he should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavan over his body without thinking of his material position and prestige. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in a celebrated song, Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shude Habe Man. When my mind will be purified after leaving the contamination of material sense enjoyment, I shall be able to visit Vrindavan. Actually, one cannot go to Vrindavan by purchasing a ticket. The process of going to Vrindavan is shown by Akrura.
When Akrura entered Vrindavan, having a ticket, he saw Krishna and Balaram engaged in supervising the milking of the cows. Krishna was dressed in yellow garments and Balaram in bluish. Akrura also saw that their eyes were exactly like the beautiful lotus flowers that grow during this autumn season. He saw Krishna and Balaram in the spring of their youth. Although they had the same bodily features, Krishna was blackish in complexion, whereas Balaram was whitish. Both were the shelter of the goddess of fortune. They had well-constructed bodies, beautiful hands, and pleasing faces, and they were as strong as elephants. Now, after seeing their footprints marked with the flag, trident, thunderbolt, and lotus, Akrura actually saw Krishna and Balaram face to face. Although they were the most influential personalities, they were glancing at him with smiling faces. Akrura could understand that both Krishna and Balaram had returned from tending cows in the forest. They had taken their baths and were dressed with red clothing and garlanded with flowers and with necklaces made of valuable jewels. Their bodies were smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, and Akrura greatly appreciated the aroma of the flowers and sandalwood in their bodily presence. He considered himself very fortunate to see Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his plenary expansion, Balaram, face to face, for he knew that they were the original personalities of the creation. As it is stated in Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and the cause of all causes. Akrura could understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had appeared personally for the welfare of his creation, to re-establish the principles of religion, and to annihilate the demons. With their bodily effulgence, the brothers were dissipating all the darkness of the world, as if there were mountains of sapphire and silver. Without hesitating, Akrura immediately got down from his chariot and fell flat, just like a rod, before Krishna and Balaram. Upon touching the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became overwhelmed with transcendental bliss. His voice choked up, and he could not speak. Due to his transcendental pleasure, incessant torrents of rain fell from his eyes. He remained stunned in ecstasy, as if devoid of all powers to see and speak. Lord Krishna, who was very kind to his devotees, raised Akrura with his hand and embraced him. It appeared that Lord Krishna was very much pleased with Akrura. Balaram also embraced Akrura. Then the two lords took him by the hand and brought him to their sitting room, where they offered him a very nice sitting place and water for washing his feet. They also worshipped him with a suitable presentation of honey mixed with other ingredients, and when Akrura was thus comfortably seated, Krishna and Balaram offered him a cow in charity, and then brought very palatable dishes, and Akrura accepted them. When Akrura finished eating, Balaram gave him betel nut and spices, as well as pulp of sandalwood, just to make him more pleased and comfortable. The Vedic system of receiving a guest was completely observed by Lord Krishna himself, to teach all orders how to receive a guest at home. It's a Vedic injunction that even if a guest is an enemy, he should be received so well that he does not apprehend any danger from the host. If the host is a poor man, he should at least offer a straw mat as a sitting place and a glass of water to drink. And Krishna Balaram welcomed Akrura in a way just befitting his exalted position. After Akrura was thus properly received and seated, Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Krishna, said, "My dear Akrura, what shall I inquire from you? I know that you are being protected by Kamsa, who is most cruel and demoniac. His protection is just like the slaughterhouse keeper's protection of animals. He will kill in the future. Kamsa is so selfish that he has killed the sons of his own sister. So how can I honestly believe that he is protecting the citizens of Mathura?" So this statement is most significant. If the political executive heads of the states are simply interested in themselves, they can never look after the welfare of the citizens. As Nanda Maharaj spoke to Akrura with pleasing words, Akrura forgot all the fatigue of his day's journey from Mathura to Vrindavan, And thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 38th chapter of Krishna, Akrura's arrival in Vrindavan.
Chapter 39. Akrura's return journey and his vision of Vishnaloka within the Yamuna River. Akrura was warmly received by Lord Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and offered a resting place for the night. In the meantime, the two brothers Balaram and Krishna went to take their supper. Akrura sat on his bed and began to reflect that all the desires he had contemplated while coming from Mathura to Vrindavan had been fulfilled. Lord Krishna is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Being pleased with his pure devotee, he can offer whatever the devotee desires. But the pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for his personal benefit. After taking their supper, Krishna and Balaram came to bid good night to Akrura and asked him how Kamsa was dealing with their friends and relatives. Krishna then inquired into Kamsa's plans. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then informed Akrura that his presence was very welcome. He inquired from him whether all his relatives and friends were well and free from all kinds of ailments. Krishna stated that he was very sorry that his maternal uncle Kamsa was the head of the kingdom. He said that Kamsa was the greatest anomaly in the whole system of government, and that they could not expect any welfare for the citizens while he ruled. Then Krishna said, "My father has undergone much tribulation simply from my being his son. For this reason also he has lost many other sons. I think myself so fortunate that you have come to my I think myself so fortunate that you have come as my friend and relative. My dear Uncle Akrura, please tell me the purpose of your coming to Vrindavan." After this inquiry, Akrura, who belonged to the dynasty of Yadu, explained the recent events in Mathura, including Kamsa's attempt to kill Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. He related the things which had happened after the disclosure by Nanda that Krishna was the son of Vasudeva, hidden by Vasudeva in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Akrura narrated all the stories regarding Kamsa. He told how Narad had met Kamsa and how he himself was deputed by Kamsa to come to Vrindavan. Akrura explained to Krishna that Narad had told Kamsa all about Krishna's being transferred from Mathura to Vrindavan just after his birth, and about his killing all the demons sent by Kamsa. Akrura then explained to Krishna the purpose of his coming to Vrindavan, to take him back to Mathura. After hearing all these arrangements, Balaram and Krishna, who are very expert in killing opponents, mildly laughed at the plans of Kamsa.
They immediately informed Nanda Maharaj that Kamsa had invited all the cowherd men and boys to go to Mathura to participate in the ceremony known as Dhanuryaja. Kamsa wanted them all to go there to participate in the function. On Krishna's word, Nanda Maharaj at once called for the cowherd men and asked them to collect milk and all kinds of milk products to present to the king in the ceremony. He also sent instructions to the police chief of Vrindavan to tell all the inhabitants about Kamsa's great Dhanuryaja function and invite them to join. Nanda Maharaj informed the cowherd men that they would start the next morning, and they therefore arranged for the cows and bulls to carry them all to Mathura. When the gopis heard that Akrura had come to take Krishna and Balaram away to Mathura, they became overwhelmed with anxiety. Some of them became so aggrieved that their faces turned black, and they began to breathe warmly and had palpitations of the heart. They discovered that the hair and clothes immediately loosened. Hearing the news that Krishna and Balaram were leaving for Mathura, others who were engaged in household duties stopped working, as if they had forgotten everything. like a person who is called for to die and leave this world at once. Others immediately fainted due to the separation from Krishna, remembering his attractive smile and his talks with him. The gopis became overwhelmed with grief. They all remembered the characteristics of the personality of Godhead, how he moved within the area of Vrindavan, and how, with joking words, he attracted all their hearts. Thinking of Krishna and of their imminent separation from him, the gopis assembled together with heavily beating hearts. They were completely absorbed in thought of Krishna, and with tears falling from their eyes, they spoke as follows. "O Providence, you are so cruel. It appears that you do not know how to show mercy toward us. By your arrangement, friends contact one another, but before they can fulfill their desires, you separate them. This is actually like a child's game that has no meaning. It's very abominable that you arranged to show us beautiful Krishna, whose bluish curling hair beautifies his broad forehead and sharp nose, and who is always smiling to minimize all grief in this material world, and then arranged to separate him from us. Oh Providence, you are so cruel. But most astonishingly, you appear now as a krura, which means not cruel. In the beginning, we appreciated your workmanship in giving us these eyes to see the beautiful face of Krishna. But now, just like a foolish creature, you are taking away our eyes by not letting us see Krishna here anymore. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is very cruel. Is also very cruel. Sorry. He must always have new friends. He does not like to keep friendship for a long time with anyone. We gopis of Vrindavan have left our homes, friends and relatives, having become Krishna's maidservant, but he is neglecting us and going away. He does not even look upon us, although we are completely surrendered unto him. Now all the young girls in Mathura will have the opportunity. They are expecting Krishna's arrival, and they will enjoy his sweet smiling face and will drink its honey. Although we know that Krishna is very steady and determined, we are afraid that as soon as he sees the beautiful faces of the young girls in Mathura, he will forget himself. We fear he will become controlled by them and will forget us, for we are simple village girls. He will no longer be kind to us. We therefore do not expect Krishna to return to Vrindavan. He will not leave the company of the girls in Mathura.
The gopis began to imagine the great functions in the city of Mathura. Krishna would pass through the streets, and the ladies and young girls of the city would see him from the balconies of their respective houses. Mathura city contained different communities, known then as Dashahar, Bhoja, Andhaka, and Satvata. All these communities were different branches of the same family in which Krishna appeared, namely the Yadu dynasty. They were all expecting the arrival of Krishna. It had already been ascertained that Krishna, who is the resting place of the goddess of fortune and the reservoir of all pleasure and transcendental qualities, was going to visit Mathura city. The gopis then began to condemn the activities of Krura. They stated that he was taking Krishna, who was more dear than the dearest to them, and who was the pleasure of their eyes. He was being taken from their sight without their being informed or solaced by Akrura. Akrura should not have been so merciless, but should have taken compassion on them. The gopis went on to say, the most astonishing feature is that Krishna, the son of Nanda, without consideration, has already seated himself on the chariot. From this, it appears that Krishna is not very intelligent. Yet he may be very intelligent, but he is not very merciful. Not only Krishna, but all the cowherd men are so callous that they are already yoking the bulls and calves for the journey to Mathura. The elderly persons in Vrindavan are also merciless. They do not take our plight into consideration and stop Krishna's journey to Mathura. Even the demigods are very unkind to us. They are also not impeding his going to Mathura. The gopis prayed to the demigods to create some natural disturbance, such as a hurricane, storm, or a heavy rainfall, so that Krishna could not go to Mathura. They then began to consider, despite our parents and guardians, we shall personally stop Krishna going to Mathura. We have no alternative but to take this direct action. Everyone has gone against us to take away Krishna from our sight. Without him, we cannot live for a moment. The gopis thus decided to obstruct the passage through which the chariot of Krishna was supposed to pass. They began to talk among themselves. We have passed a very long night, which seemed only a moment, engaged in the rasa dance with Krishna. We looked at his sweet smile, embraced him, and talked with him. Now, how shall we live, even for a moment, if he goes away from us? At the end of the day, in the evening, along with his elder brother Balaram, Krishna would return home with his friends. His face would be smeared with the dust raised by the hooves of the cows, and he would smile and play on his flute, and look upon us so kindly. How shall we be able to forget him? How shall we be able to forget Krishna, who is our life and soul? He has already taken away our hearts in so many ways throughout our days and nights, and if he goes away, there is no possibility of our continuing to live. Thinking like this, the gopis became more and more grief-stricken as Krishna's leaving Vrindavan. They could not check their minds, and they began to cry loudly, calling the different names of Krishna. Oh, dear Damodar, dear Madhava.
And the gopis cried all night before the departure of Krishna. As soon as the sun rose, Akrura finished his morning bath, got on a chariot and started for Mathura with Krishna and Balaram. Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men got up on a bullock cart after loading them with big earthen pots filled with yogurt, milk, ghee and other milk products. And then they began to follow the chariot of Krishna and Balaram. In spite of Krishna's asking the gopis not to obstruct their way, they all surrounded the chariot and stood up to see Krishna with pitiable eyes. Krishna was very much affected upon seeing the plight of the gopis. But his duty was to start from Mathura, for this was foretold by Narad. Krishna therefore consulted gopis. He told them that they should not be aggrieved. He was coming back very soon after finishing his business. But they could not be persuaded to disperse. The chariot, however, began to head west, and as it proceeded, the minds of the gopis followed it as far as possible. They watched the flag of the chariot as long as it was visible. Finally, they could only see the dust of the chariot in the distance. The gopis did not move from their place, but stood still, until the chariot could not even be seen at all, and they remained standing still as if they were painted pictures. All the gopis decided that Krishna was not returning immediately, and with great disappointment and disappointed hearts, they returned to their respective homes. Being greatly disturbed by the absence of Krishna, they simply talked all day and night about his pastimes and thus derived some consolation. The Lord, accompanied by Akrura and Balaram, travelled in this chariot with great speed towards the bank of the Yamuna. Simply by taking a bath in the Yamuna, anyone can diminish the reactions of his sinful activities. And Krishna and Balaram took their baths in the river and washed their faces. After drinking the transparent crystal clear water of the Yamuna, they took their seats again on the chariot. The chariot was standing underneath the shade of big trees, and the two brothers sat down there. Akrura then took their permission to also take a bath in the Yamuna. According to the Vedic ritual, after taking a bath in the river, one should stand at least half submerged, and murmured the Gayatri mantra. While he was standing in the river, Akrura suddenly saw Balaram and Krishna within the water. He was surprised to see them there, because he was confident that they were sitting in a chariot. Confused, he immediately came out of the water and went to see where the boys were. And he was very much surprised to see that they were sitting on the chariot as before. When he saw them on the chariot, he began to wonder whether he had mistakenly seen them in the water. He therefore went back to the river. Now this time, he saw not only Balaram and Krishna, but there were many demigods and all the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas. They were all bowing down before the Lord. He also saw Lord Seshanaga with thousands of hoods. Lord Seshanaga was covered with blue garments, and his neck were all white. The white necks of Seshanaga appeared exactly like the snow-capped mountains. On the coiled lap of Seshanaga, Krishna was sitting very soberly with 4 hands. His eyes were like the reddish petals of the lotus flower.
In other words, after returning to the Yamuna, Akrura saw Balaram turned into Sheshanag and Krishna turned into Mahavishnu. He saw the 4-handed Supreme Personality of Godhead smiling very beautifully. The Lord was very pleasing to all and was looking toward everyone with a merciful glance. He appeared beautiful with his raised nose, broad forehead, attractive ears, and reddish lips. His arms, reaching to the knees, were very strongly built. His shoulders were high, his chest was broad, and his neck was shaped like a conch shell. His navel was very deep, and his abdomen was marked with 3 lines. His hips were broad and big, resembling those of a woman, and his thighs resembled the trunks of elephants. The other parts of his legs, the joints and lower extremities, were all very beautiful, and the nails on his feet were dazzling, and his toes were as beautiful as the petals of the lotus flower. His helmet was decorated with very valuable jewels. There was a nice belt around his waist, and he wore a sacred thread across his broad chest. Bangles were on his hands and armlets on the upper portion of his arms. He wore bells on his ankles. He possessed dazzling beauty, and his palms were like lotus flowers. He was further beautified by the different emblems of the Vishnu Murti, the conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower, which he held in his 4 hands. His chest was marked with the particular signs of Vishnu, and he wore fresh flower garlands. All in all, he was very beautiful to look at. Akrura also saw his lordship surrounded by intimate associates like the 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, and other associates like Sunanda and Nanda, as well as demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. The 9 great learned sages were there, and also devotees like Prahlad and Narad, and the 8 Vasus. All were engaged in offering prayers to the Lord with clean hearts and pure words. After seeing the transcendental personality of Godhead, Akrura immediately became overwhelmed with joy and great devotion, and all over his body there was transcendental shivering. Although for the moment he was bewildered, he retained his clear consciousness and bowed down his head before the Lord. With folded hands and faltering voice, he began to offer prayers to the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 39th chapter of Krishna, Akrura's return journey in his vision of Vishnuloka within the Yamuna river.
Chapter 40. Prayers by Akrura. Akrura offered his prayers as follows. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are the supreme cause of all causes and the original, inexhaustible personality, Narayana. From your navel a lotus flower grows, and from that, Lord Brahma, creator of this universe, is born. Since Brahma is the cause of this universe, you are the cause of all cosmos. The elements of this cosmic manifestation, the earth, water, fire, air, ether, ego, and the total material energy, as well as the nature, the marginal energy, the living entities, the mind, the senses, the sense objects, and the demigods who control the affairs of the cosmos, are all produced from your body. You are the super soul of everything, but no one knows your transcendental form. Everyone within this material world is influenced by the most material nature. Even demigods like Lord Brahma, being covered by the influence of material nature, do not exactly know your transcendental existence beyond the cosmic manifestation of the three modes of material nature. Great teachers and mystic worship, worship you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of all living entities, all cosmic manifestation, and all the demigods. They worship you as all-inclusive. Some of the learned Brahmanas also worship you by observing Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. They offer different kinds of sacrifices in the names of different gods. And there are others also who are fond of worshipping transcendental knowledge. They are very peaceful, and after giving up all kinds of material activities, they engage in sacrifice known as Jnana Yajna, the philosophical search for you. There are also devotees known as Bhagavats, who worship you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After being properly initiated in the method of Pancharatra, they decorate their bodies with tilak and engage in worshipping your different forms of Vishnumurti. There are others, also known as Shaivas, followers of different acharyas who worship you in the form of Lord Shiva.
It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that worship of demigods is also indirectly worship of the Supreme Lord. But such worship is not orthodox, because the worship of our Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Demigods such as Brahma and Shiva are incarnations of the material qualities, which are all emanations from the body of Narayan. Actually, there was no one existing before the creation except Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The worship of the demigods is not on the same level as worship of Narayan. Akrura said, although the minds of those who are devotees of the demigods are fixed on a particular demigod, because you are the supersoul of all living entities, including the demigods, worship of the demigods indirectly goes to you. Sometimes after flowing down from the mountains during the rainy season, small rivers fail to reach the sea. Some reach the sea and some do not. Similarly, the worshippers of the demigods may or may not reach you. There is no guarantee. Their success depends on the strength of their worship. According to the Vedic principles, when a worshipper worships a particular demigod, he also conducts some ritual for Narayan, Yogeshwara. For as it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, the demigods cannot fulfill the desires of their worshippers without the sanction of Narayan or Krishna. The exact words used in the Bhagavad Gita are Mayeva Vihitan Hitan, which mean that the demigods can award some benedictions after being authorized by the Supreme Lord. When a demigod worshipper comes to his senses, he can reason as follows. The demigods can offer benedictions only after being empowered by the Supreme Lord. So why not worship the Supreme Lord directly? Such a worshipper of the demigods may come to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but others who take the demigods as all in all cannot reach the ultimate goal.
Akrura continued to pray, my dear Lord, the whole world is filled with the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone within this material world is covered by these modes, from Lord Brahma down to non-moving plants and trees. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are beyond the influence of the three modes. Except for you, everyone is being carried away by the waves of these modes. My dear Lord, Fire is your mouth, the earth is your feet, the sun is your eye, the sky is your navel, and the directions are your ears. Space is your head, the demigods are your arms, the oceans and seas are your abdomen, and the winds and air are your strength and vitality. All the plants and herbs are the hairs on your body, the clouds are the hair on your head, mountains are your bones and nails, the days and nights are the blinking of your eyelids. Prajapati, the progenitor, is your genitals, and the rains are your semen. And dear Lord, all living entities, including different grades of demigods and the grades of overlords, kings, and other living entities, are resting in you as part and parcels of the big unit. One cannot know you by experimental knowledge. One can simply understand you and your transcendental existence to be like the great ocean, in which different grades of living entities are included, or like the utumbara fruit, out of which small mosquitoes come. My dear Lord, whatever eternal forms and incarnations you accept when you appear in this world are meant for relieving the living entities of their ignorance, illusion, and lamentation. All people, therefore, can appreciate the incarnations and pastimes of your Lordship and eternally glorify your activities. No one can estimate how many forms and incarnations you have, nor can anyone estimate the number of universes that are existing within you. And I think that's it for today. It's amazing. Exactly in time. So here we stop reading, and tomorrow we follow more of the prayers by Kruda. Thank you for coming and sharing with us, and listening. Thank you, Sir. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, that we are actually able to see these very deep meditations and prayers. And now we have the Krishna book. It's amazing. In a different form.
Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavati Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhadara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama One more time together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One last time together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Gopinath ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna